In the SDC, Ripple will choose a possible subunit 3 times. By the way, Bittreat reported an increase in its holdings of XRP futures to $800 million in just 2 days, indicating increased demand and strong emotions for the currency, should the SEC approve it. The transaction should also include Ripple's IPO. To summarize, XRP will be accepted within the injective ecosystem. More specifically, numerous members of the XRP community have projected that the parties will reach an agreement quickly in reaction to Judge Sarah Netburn's decision on the SEC. Settlement of the Ripple case. Judge Netburn asked the parties to identify 3 mutually agreeable dates on Monday if they believe a settlement conference would be advantageous at this time. According to Eleanor Tarrin, a Fox Business journalist, the judge expects the parties to set aside at least 6 to 8 hours from the settlement meeting. Weeks have passed due to the court's hectic workload. Negotiations were not accepted by the court. The site should not assume that late requests for settlement meetings will result in an extension of the litigation deadlines, as stated further. The order also perplexed numerous XRP aficionados, since many of them thought the matter would be resolved. Tara quickly and curiously clarified the judge. Netburn's settlement order was announced on Twitter. Due to the court's hectic schedule, Judge Netburn's order and Tarrin's opinion do not imply that a settlement will be reached in the next 8 to 12 weeks. She emphasized that the order only concerns the parties' scheduling of a settlement, which means 6 to 8 weeks. Before the chosen date, a well-known reporter who has been following the SEC against Ripple fight asked more attorneys, including John Deaton and Jeremy Hogan, to underline what would happen if any of the parties refused to engage in the settlement. Meeting or concluding response to XRP Pro, according to attorney Fred Rispolis, to avoid disturbing. A settlement meeting would be scheduled by the court, the SEC, and Ripple. However, attorney Risperly predicts that, like the last 2 settlement sessions, this one will be ineffective. Preceded by adding that settlements usually happen when the parties involved reach a reasonable arrangement. It's critical to remember this. That if things develop as attorneys erroneously projected, one or both parties would likely appeal the summary judgment verdict and analyst. According to reports, both parties want to appeal Judge Korr's ruling. Remember that the judge recently published the much-anticipated summary. Many see it as a win-win situation. Concluded that Ripple's programmatic XRP sales to institutional investors. Investors are not securities, despite her conclusion that they do not constitute a contract for investing. Notably, the SEC noted in a statement that it is currently studying Judge Torr's decision before deciding what action to take. Gensler Gary. The SEC had expressed a similar attitude yesterday, stating that the SEC is dissatisfied with the court's judgment involving Ripple litigation investors. Gensler went on to say, the panel is considering that area of the verdict. Please remember to hit the notification bell and subscribe to our channel. To be the first to learn about new developments involving XRP platform users at the well-known cryptocurrency exchange Bittreat has seen a tremendous increase in their holdings of XRP futures, with the total value surging by more than 300% over the last 2 days. In only 2 days, from around $200 million to $800 million. According to a recent email from the business to its customers, an overwhelming majority of Bittreat users were bullish, with 88% having long holdings in XRP. Cowboy Crypto, a Texas-based XRP community advocate, recently made the email publicly known in a tweet. According to a graph provided by Baidu from July 3 to July 13, the notional value of open interest on the platform plummeted to less than $200 million. Starting on July 14, however, after the exchange observed a surge in the notional after the SEC lawsuit was decided. The number of active contracts for a specific asset at any given time is known since players have agreed to buy or sell it in the future. As open interest in Bittreat's report detailing the entire volume of XRP. It's worth noting that 88 of these users are also long on XRP. The volume of vitreous XRP trade has increased in recent days. Over the last 24 hours, Bittreat has witnessed $47.8 million in XRP activity on spot trades. An even more amazing statistic is visible in its permanent market, where the 24-hour volume is recorded. The XRP/USD pair has a volume of $1.13 billion per CMC. This historic action comes in the wake of Judge Annalisa Torres' recent decision in the Ripple lawsuit, in which Judge Torres ruled on July 13 that XRP is not a security. The asset was well received by the market. This resulted in a spectacular jump in the value of XRP, which increased by 99% from 47 cents to 93 cents on the same day. Following this, XRP was made available on a wide range of exchanges and trading platforms. As previously reported, XRP is seeing record-breaking demand, particularly on July 13. XRP's 24-hour trade volume peaked at $10.4 billion. This has been the highest trade volume for XRP over one since August 2021. Millions of transactions were also completed per minute. Bitru's disclosure highlights the importance of XRP globally. The rising interest in XRP is a result of the favorable Ripple case ruling. It's worth noting that the decision-made XRP is the only U.S. asset with regulatory clarity. This has affected the growing interest. Meanwhile, XRP is currently trading at 74 cents. The asset has been destroyed. 1.01 in the previous day, but has increased by 55% in the last week. Furthermore, important Ripple members. The community recently considered the possibility of a Ripple IPO in the Twitter area chat as part of a Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) settlement. The attendees discussed the likelihood of such an accord. They explored why Ripple might prefer a U.S. listing for its IPO. For XRP, a Twitter user, digital asset investor Linda Jones, a financial specialist on Wall Street, questioned whether an IPO could be a component of Ripple's ongoing growth talks to resolve the presence of Gary Gensler, chairman of the SEC. She also expressed concerns about the approval process. Endoso, the chief operating officer of Linko, a website that connects investors to innovative businesses, responded by describing how an IPO differs from the settlement process and its procedural components, emphasizing that Ripple must work with the SEC to settle the matter before filing the IPO registration statement. Endoso admitted that Ripple's hesitation to file for an IPO was most likely due to uncertainty. While the deal was still being negotiated, I inquired about approval. According to a report published on Tuesday, if all parties believe a settlement panel is necessary. At this point, the court has directed Ripple and the SEC to reach an agreement on 3 reasonable days, namely, negotiations for his settlement began. With Judge Kor's recent decision, which granted Ripple and the SEC partial victory. Endoso stated unequivocally that the decision to go public was not prompted by anything. By the market's need for additional cash. Alternatively, in Maine, the purpose was to provide shareholders with long-term benefits. Investors in the company have access to liquidity. Except for SBI, many of Ripple's stockholders are American. Companies, according to LinkToko, indicated that listing Ripple on a U.S. exchange will benefit these investors. To maximize liquidity, Endoso, while achieving good values, drew comparisons between foreign corporations operating in the United States and how even the largest global economies ensured that American Depository Receipts, or ADRs, had dual listings to take advantage of the liquidity and best valuations offered in the country. Every major economy in the world, including China, has dual listings, or ads on U.S. exchanges. He said because everyone there is aware that this is the Endoso stated that, as a result, Ripple-based firms in the United States have good reason to follow suit. That the idea of Ripple's trip overseas was more of a straightforward bargain. This change is expected to promote commerce to integrate XRP into the ever-expanding injective ecosystem. Pairs available, increasing XRP and USDT liquidity on the injective protocol. The official injective Twitter account recently called attention to the development of the general public's awareness of its importance, noting that Chris from the Injective Lab team submitted the request titled IIP 238 on July 13, several hours after the SEC's decision by Judge Annalisa Torres. XRP, according to Ripple, is not a currency. The denominator with XRP as the starting point. According to the Injective Hub governance section, the community has opted to endorse the initiative. Chris submitted it 4 days before this, and 99.78% of the votes, or landslides, were cast. In favor of Injective, the Polygon was integrated into its ecosystem less than 2 months ago, allowing market players to cross-use native material on both the Injective and Polygon platform protocols. Remember, Injective also included Solana's assets in February. If you enjoyed it, please hit the notification bell, subscribe, and like buttons for the video. I believe that sharing this video with as many people as possible helps the YouTube algorithm. As much as you can help enlighten others in the same way you have been enlightened, let's spread the news about these folks. Don't miss any of our material if you are a real Bitcoin enthusiast. We'll talk about the latest news. This has an impact on our entire community.